Hi guys, Squall here. Welcome back to episode 4 of our playthrough of Satisfactory. Hope you're enjoying it so far. We've got a few things I want to do today. Obviously, last time we made that efficient, that process of iron plate production. I want to do the same thing for the iron rod production, which is this one here. I also want to finish off the current milestone, which needs a bunch of stuff needs building. What I want to do is first probably grab some concrete and see if we can build the floor out there. So we're going to run over to our little concrete maker and build our platform out, and then we should have enough space to make that more efficient. So we'll grab all of that. In fact, I know one thing we can do. We can now build a storage box, because I'm kind of running out of inventory space because we're running around with a lot of iron ore in our backpack and other things that we just don't need. And I think... Oh no, we didn't unlock it yet. Dang it, that's a different tech. So the current one we're doing is biofuel. Personal storage would be the one that we'd have to get the box. How very irritating. Okay, not to worry. We want to get the biofuel really, so we'll carry on focusing on that. We'll chuck those 38 in there, we don't need that. We'll chuck those 10. In fact, we'll just throw everything we've got in there at the moment. Get some more space back because our box is looking very full. While we're here, again, quickly, we shall load up to make sure we don't run out. So that's already getting low. It's down to 90 on the old fuel there. I'd rather avoid a shutdown if possible. That one's full now, so that's 3 topped up. Because the biofuel is going to make life a bit easier for us. Chuck that all in there. I don't know why we've got a bit of limestone. Copper ore. Yeah, we're just carrying around all of this junk, this iron ore and stuff. So if I was playing Factorio, what I would do is I would take this copper ore that we're carrying around, and iron ore, and I would put it in a box, and then I would feed it into the main furnace and just walk away, and it would just do it. But that isn't possible. And there's no sense of that in this game. I suppose I could build a storage container and merge it into the smelter there, but it's already running efficiently at capacity, so that would be kind of pointless. But anyway, minor issues, we shall deal with it. Let's build some space back here. A couple there. Do you know this bit feels like what's it called? Oh, my mind's gone blank. It feels like the Fortnite. It feels like Fortnite in that you put down something and then it kind of builds it later. How's that Fortnite feel? Right, are these lined up here? Let's see what we're doing. So we've got a couple down there that we're not lined up with. We could just take these apart and rebuild them and line them with that. That's probably a wise thing to do, actually. Let's get rid of this. Let's be nice and tidy and efficient. Then we only have to do this once. What have we got on there? We got enough storage capacity? Yeah, we have. Right. Deconstruct that. We'll feed that in a second. So we want to construct, so we want to effectively do for this what we did for that over there. So we want to leave a little, don't need much of a gap here. We'll leave a gap there. And we'll have another one like that. So they should all be nicely lined up. With this one, we put the merger lined up with the outer one. So we'll just do a similar thing. So we want logistics, merger, and then make sure it's facing, we want the green arrow coming towards us. I want to line it up roughly. That was about... be in the middle of that square, roughly. It's not going to be exact, but it'll do. That goes into there. That goes into there. And then that fed into a storage container. Let's put a quick bit of foundation there. Bring up storage. Line it up. What did that one start? That starts roughly... round about there-ish. Outline to there. Whoops. There we go. So that's approximately the same. We're going to put the power pole down here. We're going to link that power pole to this one, and then we're going to link this one to these two. And this is going to make iron ingots. And finally, we want to get rid of that temporarily. What did we do with this? We aligned it roughly in the center, didn't we? Right, okay. So we want the splitter It's the wrong one. On the input on our side, which is the orange bit, and then we're gonna, it's gonna line up with that one and be approximately there. Splitter's gonna go in there. Splitter's gonna go in there. And then finally, that will go in here. This whole belt thing we're gonna tidy up later, so don't worry about that. That's set correctly. Because I don't like this at the moment, but you know, we're going to put new foundations down and then we'll sort of tidy up the belts a little bit. Let's just double check this is coming out. So 60 stacks should be flowing, 30 stacks should be flowing here. These are taking a 15 per minute. So these were taking 30 per minute. So already there's a problem. These take 30 and push out at 15. These can only take 15 and push out at 15. So there's an inefficiency. We've got 60 coming in, split into 30. 30 is going into a machine which is only taking 15. So in actual fact, we could line up 4 of these machines. Because we've got a 60 coming down here, we could line 4 of those machines up in this particular setup, which is different to the iron plates. Different ratios demand different solutions. Now, how are we going to do this? Because in order to do this, we're going to have to split this 4 ways, which means we're going to have to come into a splitter to split it in half, and then each of those is going to have to go into another splitter to make it properly efficient. And then we could, well, merging it back is going to be easy in a way because it's 4 15s into 160, but these only take 3 inputs. So we're going to have to double merge it back. But it should be good. We should be able to make it work. We're just going to need a few more of these here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to build the constructors out first, and then we'll have to rejig all of this stuff. We'll let that carry on doing its thing. So we want production, constructors, spin that around. And we want to be... Actually, we want to be careful here, because we're going to get a little bit close to that toxic mess, so I don't want to build too much over here. Let's build the floor though. I mean, the machines are not affected by that, but you don't want to have it really, you don't want to have your factory too close to that stuff. Also, I don't think there's a way of getting rid of those things, as far as I'm aware, which is somewhat irritating. Okay, power pole down. Link that power pole over to this one. This one will go into that one. That will go into that one. It could well be that when we turn this on, it causes a power trip. There may be too much demand. So what we're going to have, we'll just have a merger here. Logistics merger. We're going to have a merger which points basically that way. Feeds into that one. So it's going to come out of this. It's going to be sat like that. So that will feed into here. This will feed into that, and that will feed into that. So because 15 items per minute, 15 items per minute makes 30. 30 goes down that one and meets up with 2 more 15s. That makes 60. So that belt should then be full, racking out 60 of those things. That's the theory. The tricky bit is going to be back here, where we have to sort of split it all up. So, we're going to end up with a similar thing here. We'll end up with one splitter there, which shall feed inwards from that. That's going to sit roughly there. Like that. And the only thing we're missing now is a splitter to feed these splitters. So let's do that. So the input's going to come from there. Let's put it about here-ish. Right, let's take this apart. And then we'll find out if the maths worked or not. Like I said, we're going to tidy the belts up later, but right now I just want to make this thing work. So yeah, you can see a full-on 60 is coming in. So getting split either side. Then it's going to get split again, which should give each one 15. The math is correct. Let's see. So what we should see is an item every other. An item every other. That will feed into there, and you get one item in every 4 slots. Like that. And that, in theory, is efficient. Let's see what happens on the merge side of things. Come on. Yep, one item every 4 slots coming out of each of these. And that should stack perfectly when it's up and running. That should be fully stacked with no gaps in it, but I can see a gap. Let's see if it sorts itself out. There we go. Beautiful. Oh no, there's a gap again. Mathematically this should work. Unless we've got a production chain problem. 2 gaps there. That's interesting. That's fully stacked, isn't it? Did I get the maths wrong on this? 15 per minute. And this is running at 60. That should work. That should work, and yet I keep seeing these gaps. I mean, I'm not complaining about the amount of stuff being produced. That's great, but I don't get it. Anyway, let's take enough of these to complete the milestone. Take a bunch of these as well. You do need a lot of iron bars and plates later because you need to make screws and other downstream items. So it makes, you know, it's good to have a lot of production right now. Go and quickly have a look at the power demand and supply. Okay, yeah, we're running pretty close to the wire there. Probably going to need to build another generator shortly. Let's go and get some of these cables. Well, I'm quite happy with how it's progressing. Okay, 500. We'll take another 532 back for now. So we'll just take 1,000 with us. Maybe we can use it on the milestone and the space elevator. Actually, what was the requirement for the space elevator? 1,500. Blimey. Now the other thing with the space elevator is, unlike the milestone where we can just run up and drop things in whenever we get them, with the space elevator we have to have all of it with us at the time. Utility ready for launch.
Milestone reached. You have unlocked several structures aimed to provide the first needed to build basic factory infrastructure. Additionally, the biofuel blueprint will ensure improved fuel consumption of biomass burners.
Right, so
additionally, you can now build the space elevator, which is integral to your contribution to project assembly.
We've got these walls that we can build, and we've got the lookout tower, which can be useful for getting an overview. But the main thing that we just got out of that was biofuel. So what we can do is, if we just temporarily put some stuff in here, we can take all of this biomass out of here, of which we have quite a bit. We'll just put some bits and pieces in there and get all of it. Is that all of it? Yes. So what we can do now is we've got a new option down here, biofuel. And that compresses the biomass down again, which is fantastic. You can see 4 biomass costs 1 biofuel, so it's 4 times as dense. Which not only allows us to, you know, save on our storage space, because we don't need to have, like, literally got a quarter of the items in the inventory. But also, when you put it in the generator, it lasts 4 times as long, which is seriously useful. So you don't have to keep running that, like 4 times less to the generator just to keep topping it up on fuel. although it does take a while. Right, we need to set our next milestone, which I think I know where it's going to be. It's probably going to be the chainsaw, because that will let us produce fuel very, very efficiently. Because wood really does compact down lovely. Now what we can do is we can swap the biofuel in. There we go. We can run over to the generator now, and we can swap that biofuel in, and you can see it can take 200 biofuel. Like that, and that will swap out the biomass, which we can then, you guessed it, compact down. We will need to go and get some more stuff, but I'll do that later. It's not really an issue right now. We've got plenty of fuel. Because you don't want to be spending like too much of your time doing this. You'll be getting on with the job really. Right. So there you go. That's just tidied things up quite nice. So we'll take those back out. We'll take the wood. That's the pod coming back. The wood will turn into quite a lot of biomass. And that will turn into biofuel. So that'll again get rid of some more storage space. I think what we'll do now is we'll focus on the space elevator rather than our next milestone. Which means we'll have to save up a lot of items rather than spending them. So what we can do in between time, I think, is start building out the factory floor a little bit. Maybe throw up a few walls as well and tidy the place up. Okay, so we've got some fuel. Just sort that. You can see we've got not enough for a full stack for everybody, but plenty of stuff to keep us going. Put those in there. Or don't want to be carrying around ore really. Right, milestone. Personal storage box would be incredibly useful. Object scanner and beacon. The one I would like the most is the chainsaw. It gives us 5 slots and a chainsaw, which is just genius. So we can select that, and already I can see that we can afford most of it without even trying very hard. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in there. Throw those in there. And we can almost complete that. Because I would not mind that storage space right now. Come on. There we go. 15 iron plates we need. Can you believe it? We grab some iron ore. We can quickly manufacture this. I know we're making it across the other side of the factory, but by the time I ran over there and ran back, I could have had it done. Chainsaw's great. Go.
Milestone reached. Additional to an inventory expansion, you are now capable of removing foliage that consists primarily out of wood.
So I think the next thing I want to get is probably that, but I'm not in a huge rush to get it now. You can see we've added another 5 slots, which is just like a breath of fresh air now. We can actually carry a decent amount of stuff around. Now the chainsaw I think we make over at the workshop, but we'll do that when we're next doing a biofuel run. Right now we want to concentrate on our items for the elevator, which needs 500 concrete. That's going to be the tricky one. 1500 copper wire easy. 400 bars. We've got that 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got that already because we're absolutely smashing bars out. We can easily get enough for 250 iron plates. So we've got 278. So we've got enough there. So now we just need the concrete and the copper. The concrete is going to be the tricky one because it does make it very slowly. We might have to help accelerate this a little bit. I've got an idea how we can do that actually. So we've got 200... 500, right, okay. We've got 245 on us. Blimey. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to throw a couple of miners down. In fact, I'm going to throw all 3 down. Funnily enough, these still operate just fine. Even though you've got a miner running. They will gather limestone, and we can go and smash that limestone into concrete manually. And that's going to get us over the line. Meanwhile, we're going to run up here and find out. When we do get the chainsaw, these trees are all going. There's one thing we know about factory mechanization, is the trees never last. They always get trashed. Right, we need 1,500. Oh boy, you see what I mean? It's going to be a little while before we have that. 1,500. Can we actually... What's this making at? 15 per minute. And that's chucking at 30 per minute. So straight away I can see that we can double our output by making another constructor. Which I don't have enough materials. I need to reinforce plates. No. Yeah, we can basically double our production here very easily. Reinforced plates require screws, if I remember. See where they're at. I thought the copper wire would be the easiest, but it's gonna, because it's such a big number. Reinforced iron plate probably needs these. Let's see, constructor, yep, we can now build. So yeah, we're kind of getting to the point where we'll be running around a lot less. One of the key milestones, I think, is getting to coal. Once you get that coal power online, all this biomass nonsense just becomes irrelevant. But again, at some point, there won't be enough coal, and you probably need to go nuclear, but nuclear is not yet implemented. Okay, that's locked in there. Where's the nearest power pole? I'm going to put one down anyway. Right, this is going to have to be merged. We may have to move this back. Let's go logistics. Merger. Green arrow wants to point towards us. So what we can do is... I very much doubt we can snap it onto here. We can try. We can see if that works. Well, I'll be. Look at that. Because I left a bit of a gap there. It allowed for future expansion. That's beautiful. Right, wires. Let's get rid of that wire there. And we'll quickly... power it like that. And then we just want to split this. So that's easy. We can just drop it onto the line. We know this works. We know it works sometimes, but we also know it doesn't work all the time. And that was one of the times when it didn't work. Let's try that again. Splitter. why this is being so finicky. There we go. There's just no real particular reason why that. I think it's just a game bug, and it is an alpha after all. But what that means now is that that should no longer back up. In fact, that number should stay fairly stable, in theory. Even though it's going down bizarrely. Which means that's not the capacity. 30 per minute production. Split into 15. 15 on each, producing 3 wires at 45 per minute. Means we're now producing 90 wires per minute. Which is just fab. Space elevator, here we come. Right. While it's doing that, we're going to go and grab that limestone. It's being manually drilled out. We'll make it into concrete, and we'll also grab the actual concrete. Might just make a chainsaw while we wait for the copper wire. But we're going to build a space elevator today. It's going to happen. I think the inventory system needs an overhaul in this game. Like I said, the icons need to be a bit bigger. They should probably categorize it into tabs as well. If you remember in Factorio, if your inventory is categorized into tabs, and I think that's a necessary thing here. There should be... You'd be able to split and look at things in different ways. Right, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 423. That's almost enough concrete. Chainsaw requires lots of screws. Reinforced, 10 reinforced iron plates and lots of screws. 160 screws, blimey. I didn't know you had that many screws in a chainsaw. Alright, we'll make the reinforced iron plates. Crafting is quite quick in this game. Like in other games it's pretty slow, but in this game it's quite quick. There we go, and then make sure we've got 160 screws, like that. The chainsaw takes biofuel, by the way. Right, there we go, chainsaw. So, you can put leaves in it though, that's the thing. But if we nick a bit of that biofuel, that. So now what we do is you put the chainsaw in our hand, and then we'll just take the biofuel, pick it up, that loads into the chainsaw, and you just hold it down. Look at that, 17 wood, some leaves. And it is just biofuel for days, this is. And this is another reason why I wanted the extra slot storage capacity, because this will fill up your backpack. It's a very, very efficient way of getting biofuel. It's crazy how quick you can do it. And it's mostly down to the wood. But it's also pretty handy, I mean, just to get rid of some of these trees. Let's try on this big one. We'll probably get gassed while we're here, but so much wood you get from this. 40 wood, 48 leaves. And it just tidies the joint up nicely. There you go, so we'll put that down, put our zapper back in our hand. I'm just doing stuff while that the copper's being made. That's basically what we're doing here. There's always something that you can be doing in your factory. Let's see how much there's left in there. See, 157 biofuels, that is lasting way longer now. I may have to put... I've got enough space. Dang it. Biomass leaves, let's compress some of that down. Because the wood expands quite a bit. I wish there was a way, like in Factorio, if you if you was to do this in Factorio, you would just basically say, make the biofuel, and it would then essentially queue up biomass wood, biomass leaves. It would make the intermediate products, and then it would make the biofuel. In this game, it doesn't have that. You have to basically manufacture all of your intermediate products by hand, and then make the final product. Now, I don't know if they're going to change that or not, but it kind of seems to me that they should. I kind of like Factorio's queuing system. Although the thing about Factorio is you can queue up items to be made and then you can carry on running around the screen. Which in this game you have to sit at the workbench or the crafting station and actually do it. Which I can appreciate, but I would still like the ability to queue things. Right, we'll just manufacture all this and then we'll throw it in the back of the generator. I mean, look at that now. What's that? 500 biofuel in no time at all, really. That's the power of the chainsaw. And this stuff is lasting quite a while. Which means we can keep our factory online very, very efficiently now. Go, put the leaves in there. Let's see, what else have we got? Flower petals. You always pick up this redundant stuff as well, which you don't really want. Sort that, sort that. Alrighty then. I reckon we can do this. I reckon we can do this. Space elevator. Let's go and grab some more iron bars and plates. Get the concrete. Go and pick up the copper. Hopefully we've got enough copper wire now. 90 a minute should be enough. Yeah, we're starting to get to the point where we're making stuff at a good rate. Another 30. So what we could do is split that and put some back if you wanted to. It's not necessary, but 420 out of 400. We'll just take a stack of that. 254 out of 250. Go and grab the concrete. It's only done 65. Blimey. Is that it? Oh, the heck? Don't know how I just did that. Fat fingers. Right. 488 out of 500. Are you actually having a laugh? Oh my god. Good job we made those. I think I'm going to leave those miners there. We may as well have just... Because limestone is... Like, concrete is slow to make. It's quick to make here on the workbench, but it's slow to make... Look at how quick that is. But on a machine, it takes forever. So I think just having some concrete on tap, it's probably not a bad thing. Now, I think we'll build a space elevator, maybe up on the hill. The thing about the space elevator is you don't need it anywhere near your base. It's a weird thing. I thought we'd go this way. So we'll probably just have it over here. You kind of just want it out of the way. You occasionally need to go to it, but hardly ever. And you don't need to load things into it, really. You do it all from your hub. It doesn't need to be connected... Oh, it doesn't need to be connected to power. I don't think it does need power. It's a weird one, the space elevator. Right, let's see if we've got enough stuff. $1,279. So yeah, we're just waiting for like another 230 odd copper wire. So let's have a scout round where we're going to build it. I think probably... No, we don't want it near this stuff, because we want to mine that later, but that'll be going down the hill, so let's probably do it upstream. Let's do it uphill. So I don't know if there's any stuff around here. conscious about building the space elevator, and it needs a big flat space. It is massive. Oh, there's a mine there, look. Whatever that is. Actually, I don't know what that is. I suspect that's a mineral we're not using. Oh, power slug. One sec. Sulfur. Power slug on the wall, look. Just sat there on the tree. Can't use it yet, but we're going to put it in the box. Pick up the green power slug. Yep. Wait, there's a crash pod? Since when was that here? This is handy. Copper wire, exactly what we need. Reinforced plates, won't say no. Copper wire. What's that? 3 motors? This looks like it just landed. Not long ago. 7 motors, and normally there'll be a... Right, it needs 40 megawatt hours to open. So, a biomass generator, I think, is 15? 20. 20 megawatts coming out of a biogenerator. And this is 40. So, maybe we can actually... Did I bring any biomatter with me? Of course I didn't. Right, if we chuck some leaves in this thing... We're running out of inventory space. So I've got all the space stuff. Wait, what did that actually get? Chainsaw doesn't take leaves. That's annoying. I haven't got enough space. This is so annoying. Right, we'll drop the 2 screws on the floor. Can easily make 2 screws. If we chuck... leaves in the back of that. Normally this would be a piece of cake, but because I'm struggling for inventory space right now, because I've got all the ingredients for a space elevator, this is just really bad timing, but we should be able to make it work. It basically tripped because it's demanding 40, we're only supplying 20. So it just nopes out completely. Hard drive. Okay. So grab all. Grab all. A hard drive with fix-it data. Analyze it in the MAM to salvage its contents. So we just basically got an item that we can stick into the research thing. And analyze the research data. We don't know what it's going to give us, but we can research it now and get some stuff for it. It it should give us something useful. So we're going to quickly run back, throw that into the mem. That was a good find. I don't know how many hard drives there are to get in this game, or how far they're going to go, but I think it's basically early game research. The ability to go out, there'll be various crash pods. That one required power, other ones will require... I think I've seen one that required steel, like 5 steel, and the steel is not something we can manufacture in the game yet. So that's very much a, nope, not yet kind of thing. So we'll chuck this in the... Oops. Chuck this in the mem. Hard drive. Okay. Drop that in there.
Barrel nuts added to object scanner catalog.
So barrel nuts added to the scanner. So if we make an object scanner, we can tell it to find barrel nuts and it will take us to them. That's going to take 10 minutes. They're just going to microwave the hard drive because that's good for hard drive. Stick the leaves. Anything else have we got here? Green power slug. Forgot about that. Let's take the screws out of there. Put the power slug in. We need to analyze the power slug. Limestone will stick in there. Cables we haven't got a stack of. Let's get that one biomass out of there. God, I mean, just struggling so much for inventory space is ridiculous. Just got to leave things on the floor. Right, let's double check. We should hopefully be able to do it now. Yeah, we've got all the other ingredients. Let's go and grab the copper wire and get this done. Space elevator, here we come. I wonder if on other worlds they'll be as dark. Like, the nighttime on this one is quite light, really. And there's no ability to build lamps, which I think is annoying. You should be able to build lamps, but you can't do it. But then you don't really need to do it either because, well, you can see it's not that dark. But I do wonder if in other biomes they'll actually make it dark, and if they'll allow you to build lamps at some point. Now, can we build it here? We can indeed build it here. Look at this. Just throw ingredients. Just lobbing balls of copper and iron. This amazing machine comes out of it. No lubricants required. Just, there you go. And then once you've built that, it's like a massive clamp. And this thing will come down from the orbiter and just lock onto it. And this becomes the elevator. It does make you wonder if one day something like this will be possible. Clunk. There you go. And a platform comes down. You can't actually get to that platform. How cool is that? So, if we walk over to it and have a quick look. Configure the space elevator. So it says space elevator resource delivery game phase name. So this is delivery will unlock tier 3 and 4, right? So if we chuck in 75 iron plates and 50 rotors. Bearing in mind, I think we got given some, oh no, we got motors. Creates a mechanical force that is used to move things from machines to vehicles. Okay, we built motors, not rotors. Interesting. So yeah, this is a bit of another objective now. Iron plates and rotors. Now we can, if we unlock the assembler, we can actually assemble this stuff. Reinforced iron plates, if you remember, is made from screws and iron plates. So that can only be made in an assembly module, same as this thing. Once we've loaded up, we then load and send, and we'll get unlocked tier 3 and 4 tech. Which is, because currently we're locked into tier 1 and 2 tech. So I think that's going to have to be the objective next time. Now we've got the elevator, we can focus on assembly research and that kind of thing. But I think we're going to have to leave it there. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Give me a thumbs up if you did, and if you're enjoying the series. Until the next one, Take care. Happy manufacturing.